Rim Country News brought to you by Christine Croak, your Rim Country real estate expert. On this Monday, October 26th, for Tonto TV, K-Rim Radio News, and Global Trails Media, I'm Randy Roberson with your Rim Country News headlines. Although it normally goes without saying, it must be stated again that you should never leave a vehicle running unattended, especially with a child inside the car. Now, the following situation could have turned tragic depending on the actions and intent of the suspect. The Yavapai County Sheriff's Office over in Cottonwood is reporting that this past week, about 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday, the owner of a white 2016 Dodge Ram truck stopped at the Quick Country store on Western Drive just off of Highway 260 in Cottonwood. The driver parked at one of the gas pumps and entered the store, leaving his 4-year-old child in a car seat inside the running vehicle. At one point, while still in the store, he wanted to pay for the gas but forgot the pump number. When he looked outside, the truck with his 4-year-old child inside was gone. A witness told the man that they saw a suspicious male in pajama pants in the area, but did not see this person get inside the truck. A short time later, the still running truck was found in the middle of the road on Highway 260 at the intersection with Out of Africa Parkway. The child was still inside and unharmed. A witness told deputies they had seen the victim's truck driving at a high rate of speed on Highway 260 and suddenly stop at the Out of Africa intersection. The suspect exited the truck and walked north across the highway into the desert. Well, several deputies immediately began a search of the area to include Old Highway 279, which parallels Highway 260 to the north. One of the deputies drove to an elevated position off of Highway 260 in the vicinity of the suspect's last known location, and he saw a silver Dodge pickup pulling a trailer leaving a ranch heading towards Cottonwood. A deputy was driving in the opposite direction on Old Highway 279 and stopped the truck, which contained 2 men. Well, the passenger was wearing a blue sport coat, no shirt, and pajama bottoms. He was identified as 25-year-old Miguel Antonio Ochoa of Phoenix. The driver of the truck claimed Ochoa had just approached him for a ride and that he did not know Ochoa otherwise. Well, Ochoa was interviewed and did admit to the theft of the truck, which he noticed was running with the keys in the ignition. Ochoa said he was trying to get to Phoenix after being dropped off earlier and stranded by his girlfriend. Reportedly, when he noticed the child in the back of the truck, he stopped and fled. Ochoa was also found in possession of a piece of tinfoil with burnt residue and a straw presumed to be for fentanyl. Ochoa was booked into the Camp Verde Detention Center and is facing charges including vehicle theft, kidnapping, endangerment, and possession of a controlled substance. He remains in custody, and bond has not yet been set as of last report. Well, taking a look at other news from around Rim Country, here in Gila County, as of October 25th, the Habanero Fire, burning 15 miles southwest of Globe in the Tonto National Forest, has burned a little over 3,200 acres of land and is now 25% contained. Forest authorities say a decrease in fire activity during the day helped firefighters with containment efforts. The fire continues to grow at a slow rate while crews continue to use natural barriers and existing roads to tie in containment lines. The Forest Service says the threat to structures has greatly decreased and evacuations are currently not in place for the area. So that's some good news there. Well, in other news, the Payson Police Department is asking an interesting question, and one that maybe you hadn't considered. Did you know that if your neighbor says they aren't going to vote and gives you their ballot to fill in and submit, it's against the law to do so? Well, according to Arizona Revised Statute 16-1005, any person who knowingly marks a voted or unvoted ballot for another person is guilty of a Class 5 felony. Now, the only exception is that if it is for a family member, household member, or caregiver of the voter. Payson PD wants to remind you that breaking this law could result in 2 years in prison. Definitely don't want to do that. Well, finally, a little bit of good news. Rescued at last. Hellsgate firefighters have been trying to rescue this poor little pup from the storm drains beneath Highway 260 in Star Valley for the past few days. A local resident alerted 911 dispatchers that he was hearing a dog bark from under the storm gutters for several days. Firefighters entered the storm drains early on Saturday morning, but were unable to get into the smaller drain pipes where the dog was. Now, she was understandably frightened and would not come out to the firefighters. Chief Wisner placed food and water near the dog Saturday evening in hopes that the dog would survive long enough while they came up with a rescue plan. With rain in the forecast, Hellsgate firefighters feared that the dog might drown if the drains filled up. A plan to trap the dog was devised using food to bait the trap. Board member Jeff Shaw provided the small cage trap for the plan. Chief Wisner, very wise chief by the way, baited the trap with, of all things, apple smoked bacon and cheddar cheese. Well, of course that worked. It would work for me. The good news is it did work, and after battling a mobile home fire, the Hellsgate crew checked the trap and saw that she was safely inside. They hauled her out, and now she was being happily cared for by the crew at Station 21 out in Star Valley. Well, we have an update to that story too. It seems the little dog's name is Penny, and Hellsgate fire personnel want to thank all of the local residents who took an interest and shared her story on social media. As a result, her owners were found, and as it turns out, Penny's owner mom went in for surgery, and Penny must have been missing her mom, because when her owner dad let her out for a brief moment, Penny did not return. Now, how she ended up in the storm drain, we'll never know, but she was sure happy to see Dad and hear her mom's voice on the phone. At last report last night, Penny was back home sleeping in her own nice warm bed instead of a cold storm drain pipe. Great work by the Hellsgate Fire Department. Good job. Well, coming up in Rim Country weather, it looks like we can expect more precip and highs today, which are going to be well below normal. So, all of that said, what does the rest of your week look like? Well, a complete report on your 7-day forecast is coming up next. You're watching Rim Country News.
The past 7 months have been difficult on all of us. Our circumstances demanded immediate change that impacted our entire community.
Distance learning has been really challenging, but I'm so thankful for my parents and teachers working so hard to help us.
Thank you, teachers, for continuing to do all that you have to support and encourage our children to move forward in this difficult time.
Parents and families, we understand how difficult this time has been for both you and your students, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
After all this time, we are so excited for our children to reconnect with their amazing teachers and their friends.
We are a community of resilience, and we're coming back stronger than we have ever been.
Being a Longhorn represents pride, courage, unity, and the ability to overcome anything as a family.
We want to thank our schools and parents for working so hard to continue our education. We are so grateful to finally be back together.
Well, taking a look at Rim Country weather, daytime temperatures today will remain steady or even fall a little bit throughout the day today. Many areas can expect readings of 20 to 30 degrees below normal. Locations that have not already experienced freezing temperatures can expect to have a hard freeze tonight, and the only exception being locations below the 3,000 to 4,000 foot elevation. Dry conditions and a warming trend then develop from Wednesday onward. Most precipitation today will be in the form of snow by late this afternoon. The heavier rainfall amounts seen on Sunday and overnight in the eastern zones will decrease as drier air works into the profile. Any snow accumulations after this morning will be spotty and light, with the exception of the White Mountains. Daytime highs here in Payson today are forecast to stay in the low to mid 40s with a 40 to 50% chance for continued precipitation. Our low tonight is expected to be dipping down to about 28 degrees. In fact, there is a hard freeze warning in effect that the National Weather Service has issued for most parts of Rim Country above the 3,000 to 4,000 foot elevation. Well, after the clouds move out late today, things should generally get a bit warmer with highs back into the 70s here in Payson by later in the week. Up on top of the Rim, you have an 80% chance for more snow showers throughout the day today, with highs up there only warming to the mid-30s. And our neighbors to the south in Tonto Basin, they may be feeling a little bit cheated overnight last night with only a very few sprinkles down there. You do, however, have a 40% chance for showers today with a high only in the mid-50s. And that's kind of nice. It was a high in the mid-90s just a week ago, so a 40-degree drop. And that's what's happening around Rim Country. For K-Rim Radio News, Tonto TV, and Global Trails Media, I'm Randy Roberson. Make it a great Monday.
Right now, as you're watching this video, there are over 40 million people getting trafficked against their will. And what makes it even worse is that stat is notoriously underreported.
So many victims even know their traffickers well. A parent, a family friend, even spouses. 7 out of 10 victims are female.
1 out of 4 is a child. Those at greatest risk are the marginalized, the vulnerable, homeless, living in poverty. Human trafficking generates over $150 billion every single year. You know who spends the most? The U.S. You know what makes me even sadder is my home state of Florida, which I love, is near the highest every year. And probably within a mile of where I'm standing right now is a girl who has been or will be trafficked against her will. Guys, it's not good enough. We gotta do better. We need you to enter the fight, and we need you now.